It's now time for Punted, a podcast discussing the very latest in all things racing, including tips, giveaways and laughs. Here's your hosts, Scott McKinnon and Nathan Kendrick.
Welcome back everyone for another week of the Punted podcast. Nath, we went terrible last weekend, so we looked to grab the big guns in. We're bringing 16-time Group 1 winning jockey Damian Browne, 8-time premiership winner at the Sunshine Coast. Did you win all of them in a row, Dave? Or did you get beat 1 year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Luke Tarrant knocked you off, didn't he?
Jeff Lloyd.
Jeff Lloyd, was it?
Yeah,
I did see that on the board actually.
I had an injury, so the old fella,
Yeah.
he knocked me off, so...
Jeez.
Yeah, no, it was good.
You reigned over the sunny coast for too long, Brown. You were the man for a long time. Oh, well, how was it the morning? We worked together this morning, Brown.
We did. We had a busy morning, didn't we?
Busy morning. My day didn't get much better either.
You would have to patch a few holes today.
I didn't patch today, but I had a lot of problems. But anyway, we'll move on from that. We're podcasting now, so
that's right.
I guess we'll get stuck into it. Nath, what do you'll hit Brown with the first?
Well, I think probably the horse that probably a lot of people know you for in your association with, Buffering. And I've always been a bit curious, how did that sort of association come about with him?
Well, I always sort of rode for Rob.
Yeah,
a fair bit. And I was riding Warham early on with him, and I rode Warham and Buffering on the same day, the first time I rode Buffering at Moonee Valley. And I won on him, and I won on Warham the same day. And going into the Oakley Plate, I rode Warham, who won. And I ended up sticking with him, and for a bit after that, Warham and Buffering ran in the same races.
Yeah.
So I stuck with Warham, and Michael Rod, Hugh Bowman. There's a few had a turn on him, but thankfully, after Warham retired, I was able to get back on him.
Yeah, he took you all over the world too, Brown.
all
Dubai. I
over
saw the replay the other night because they had it just on the World Cup again. Would have been a huge thrill for you, for your family. You took everyone over too, didn't you?
Oh, I took the wife over. Look, I was in business class, but I had to pay for it, so she went in cattle class downstairs. But I made sure I rang her a few times to make sure she was okay. But afterwards, she stopped answering me calls. So, look, it was an amazing experience, obviously, with the other side of the world, with the best jockeys in the world and trainers and horses. And Dubai does it like no other place because there's not really any betting there.
Yeah.
So it's all about the show and
the horses and the people.
Janet Jackson was having a concert on there that night after the races. So yeah, it was a real eye opener and a great thrill.
Did you party hard?
Yeah, we went to a bar that was actually on course at Maidan, and there's a few of the jockeys ended up there. So that was Victor Espinosa. He won the Dubai World Cup that night. He was there, and Frankie, and then so we all had a few beers, and it was a good night. Yeah,
beautiful. Frankie winning again the other night as well. He's a freak on Lord of the North.
Yeah. Do you think for you personally that would be your biggest win or your most sentimental win on Buffering over in Dubai?
Yeah, certainly, because you're going to the other side of the world, and it's on the world stage. It's something that everybody aspires to do, is go internationally and compete and win, and being World Cup night, which is probably one of the biggest nights racing in the world. Just to be there was a huge thrill. So to win, just icing on the cake.
Yeah, 100%. And another thing too, probably a lot of, because you were based in Queensland before when you came over from New Zealand, and obviously a lot of Queensland jockeys, there's not many that really get the chance to ride down south, like Melbourne, Victoria, like Melbourne, Sydney, and all that. And you obviously had the chance to ride back-to-back Blue Diamond winners, Earthquake for Snowdens and also Pride of Dubai for Snowdens. So how did that association with the Snowden team come about?
I just got lucky.
Yeah.
Look, we were friends with Peter's daughter. My wife is Kim, and through her and her husband Dave, who was a big supporter of mine, he used to back me up here all the time, and he used to be in Peter's ear all the time. And finally Peter relinquished and says, I'll give him a ride.
Yeah.
And it happened to be a horse called Pinwheel in the Healy Stakes at Eagle Farm, and it was one of my best rides that I could even hope to ride, and so that really helped. And from then on, we just seemed to strike up a really good relationship and a lot of luck. So it just continued on from there.
Because that was your only 2 ever Blue Diamond rides too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and back to back.
2 from 2. If you ask him, he'll tell you.
That's right. Yeah. No, but that's a good effort in itself. So And you had obviously a lot of other opportunities down south too with some other good horses. Do you reckon probably Buffering was the one that you thought was the most, that you had the most luck with, obviously, but the most impressive, or was there any other horses that sort of were up there where he was?
Well, he would be the most successful,
Yeah.
without a doubt. I think I won maybe 7 Group 1s on him, so he was definitely my most successful, and he ended up with a bit of a cult following. Black Caviar retired, and everybody was sort of looking for another horse to follow, and because he was a sort of always the underdog, and he'd been around against the Black Caviar, the good ones, so he was a bit of a people's horse. He used to get cheered and clapped onto the track in Melbourne, which was something I'd never really experienced.
You would have loved that.
No, it was good. So look, he was just a great tough horse. You know, he tried so hard, but without a doubt, there was a few that I rode for Snowden's. I mean, Pride of Dubai, I still think was one of the best horses I rode. We never got to see the best of him.
Yeah,
I think he only had 5 starts, and then he was retired to stud.
Yeah, and he won the.
All right, guys, we're back from a technical difficulty. We only had one for the day, so that's going all right, Brown.
Things aren't looking too good.
Yeah,
I hope we can get.
We
through
had a
this.
bad week last week, and we're continuing on this week. But
This is your day, mate.
yeah, I've had a bad day as well, Brown, as we touched on earlier. But we were just getting onto the Winks story and how you had the opportunity to ride Winks. We've said it a couple of times, so we'll skip through it. But you got the call up to ride her, and you declined.
Yep.
Politely.
Had a better ride.
Had a better ride, yeah.
That's
That's fair enough. It's quite a smart,
Yeah, I was wrong.
Good move.
See, even every now and then I was wrong.
Yeah, you got it wrong once in there.
Yeah, no, look, it was one of those unfortunate things. Larry ended up riding her.
Yeah.
And he ended up being able to sell his saddle for 5,000. I
Yeah.
like that as a retired old man now.
Yeah, exactly right. Retired. You still work, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Supervisor.
boss,
You
I'm
work
always
with
there.
Scotty boss you around.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I can imagine.
I'm not his boss. I'm one of his peers. I'm a fan.
Kind of worker.
But anyway, we'll talk about Epaulet as well, I guess. Another one. We'll bring up another sad story, and then we'll get onto the good stuff, I guess. But another one you missed out on.
Yeah, I tell you, if all the stories are going to start like this, I don't know if I'll make the end of the podcast. But look, yeah, there was another horse. Peter rang me up to ride it in the Golden Rose. I had some good rides at Durban.
Yeah.
I wanted one of those rides, so I said no to Peter. The horse obviously won. Tommy Berry rode it.
Yeah.
His first Group 1 winner. And I'm still waiting for the check in the mail from Tommy.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get it either because he's sitting on the bench at the
Yeah,
moment.
he's
But
out,
anyway.
he's out for a while too. So.
Yeah, I think you got it reduced, but anyway. Poor old Tommy. That happens in racing. You would have done no skullduggery in racing, Brown. You were clean as they come.
I didn't even know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
yeah, that's right.
Honest Brownie, the people's choice.
Yeah,
I
no, for sure. Yeah, how long did it take you, Brown, to get when you came over first? Were you just out of your apprenticeship?
No, I was probably 30.
30, yeah.
30 when I come over here the last time.
Yeah.
When I stayed here, and I've been here ever since. So that's been about just over 20 years now. And it took me a while to get going.
Yeah.
One of the first people I come and rode for was your old man,
Yeah.
Stewie, and you know, we built up a good relationship, and I love riding for Stewie, and you know, he was a trainer that probably didn't have the best quality as in breeding,
Yeah.
but was able to maximise what he did have, and was able to get the best out of his horses, and you know, we're a pretty good team.
I
And
was about to say you had a lethal strike rate there.
We
You
did.
did for a
looking
while.
at about 22%, I think, and about 48% place getters.
yeah, I think most weeks we were having 1 or 2 winners, and
Yeah.
as I said, the quality probably wasn't the best of us,
Yeah.
but
You were
he
just too
placed
good
them
for 'em.
well, and they were trained to the minute.
And a good jock on board, I guess.
Well, you know, that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's right, for sure. Yeah, I guess, did he ever give you a spray? Was he getting any good at sprays? He can give me a spray.
No, I don't think I ever really got one at the race. I caught one for not turning up to the track one morning to
You
go
were
at
famous
Pravana.
for that. Famous.
But that was the only real one I got off him. It was a Tuesday morning. The horse was supposed to gallop.
She could
and
gallop, that
I
horse
didn't
too.
lob, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was about the only real spray I got.
Yeah. What were you doing? Were you busy?
Sleeping.
Yeah, I was snoring.
Yeah.
But,
He'd be famous. He'd rock up to the track in thongs and a dart and coffee and then never put the riding boots on. I remember as a kid watching him
I
stand there and
can
talk
imagine
all morning.
Did you ever cop any sprays from other trainers that you really remember?
I was pretty lucky. I've been around when trainers have been giving sprays to
Yeah.
other jockeys.
Yeah.
I didn't really get a lot. I got one off Tony Golan one day.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was the last ride I ever had for him, and that was by my choice. It was a bit unwarranted, I thought, as we do.
Yeah.
That was in the Caulfield Guineas, but other than that, I was pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Have there ever, like, there's obviously been rides where you've probably slaughtered it a bit, and are you the first one to come back in and say, look, I fucked that up?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, I always felt that if you come in and said that, people aren't stupid.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
You know, and especially when the owners are walking down the mounting yards afterwards, obviously they're, you know, a bit
Disappointed.
a bit disappointed, and they're talking to the trainer, and usually the trainer will be saying, "Oh, the jockey slaughtered it."
Yeah.
So I always thought it was better to get in
Put your
first,
hand up,
and
yeah.
I felt that if I said to the owners, "Look, I made a bad decision, or I rode it was bad, or something," give me another chance. I won't make that mistake again. I'll win on him next time.
Yeah.
Normally those owners will walk away, and they'll think, "Oh, at least he said he'll win on it next time. We'll have to give him another
Another
ride."
go,
You know?
yeah, that's right.
Better than just trying to
Talk your
bullshit
way out of it,
you
yeah.
know. So I always found that the better way to go. And most meetings you would, like if you had 5, 6, 7 rides, there's a chance that you're going to
Yeah.
mess one up.
you
Yeah.
know.
Especially when you were nearly on most favourites here on a Sunday, on a Friday, you know, you did lob on a lot of favourites, didn't you? You were the best on the
quite
coast.
a few of them were probably weren't really worthy of being favourites a lot of
It was
times.
a bit like the J-Mac factor down
Yeah.
south. You
Yeah.
know, you here
Oh,
on a
that's
Sunday,
wonderful.
D
Sure.
Brown, good trainer, and you know the price is halved because you're on.
That's right. Well, to be fair, I probably rode for good trainers most of the time
Yeah,
as well.
that's right.
And a lot of people would only ring me if they thought their horse was a good chance.
Yeah.
So, especially later in my career when I was sort of limited to how many rides I could
Yeah.
take, they wouldn't sort of ring me up for a slow ride. So, I was pretty fortunate in that way, but I was very lucky.
Yeah.
And obviously, throughout time, you've struggled with a bit of weight problems and wasting and that sort of thing. Was that something that you thought, like coming into race riding, that you would struggle with, or is it sort of something that came over time?
No, I was 44 kilos when I had my first ride.
Yeah.
But in 1989, I broke my neck.
Yeah.
So I was out for just over 12, nearly 18 months with that. I come back and then I was about 51, and then I broke my back a couple of years after that, and then I was flat riding 54 from there.
Yeah.
And so I even had some time out of the game for a while. I worked polishing pail shells and doing different things, you know. I moved to Melbourne for a little bit, just as a track work rider. And after 12 months of riding work, the trainer made me get my licence there. And within 12 months, I'd ridden a Derby winner there and had a ride in the Melbourne Cup. So I think in the South Island, particularly in New Zealand, you're only racing once a week, so it's very difficult to be focused all the time.
Yeah.
For minimal money
Yeah.
and for not much racing. So between that and probably my own doing as well, I probably was my own worst enemy being a young fella. I was a bit of a rogue, I suppose. You know, I've changed a lot, haven't I?
Yeah, for sure,
Did you have a bit of a routine with that, like with keeping your weight under control?
Punch 20 durries and drink
Because
coffee.
I remember being
Go
a
to
kid
the
and we'd
park,
go.
go
Yeah,
home.
that's what I was going to say. I remember being a kid and on a Sunday Arbor or a Sunday night after the races, we'd go for dinner usually down to one of the pubs and that. So yeah, you'd have to have some sort of routine, obviously, to try keep your weight as.
Well, yeah, I
as low as
always
you can.
found you had to have that night
Yeah.
because all week you're working
for it,
wasting,
yeah.
sweating, running with wetsuits on in the heat, but you had to have a carrot at the end.
Yeah.
Right,
To
I
look
can have
forward
a
to.
You had to
good
enjoy
feeling
it.
there on Sunday night. So Sunday night is usually my let go night.
Yeah.
And then by Monday night I'm starting to work back into it for the week again, and then Wednesday, and then obviously good for the weekend again.
And do you agree with Bossy throughout the week? He said that they should raise the weights up 4 kilos to avoid all these sort of fatigue problems and weight issues and that. What do you reckon about that?
Look, for somebody that always had problems with his weight, I'd say that's wrong, but
It is what
now
it
you
is.
think I'd say it's right.
Yeah.
But, they always raise the weights, and I think, to be honest, I think people get lazier if things are going to get easier.
That's right, yeah.
You know, little horses now, how much weight are you going to want them to carry before you start thinking about breaking them down.
Yeah, that's right.
When a horse gets 59, 60 kilos an hour, people want to claim or
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know, I don't. I think that's everybody's got an opinion on it, and
I guess
there's
it
probably
comes.
no right one, but
It comes after recent events of 9 jockeys falling off in nearly
Melbourne,
4 weeks or something like that. Like Jamie Carr doesn't look like she, you know, it doesn't sound great about Jamie. She, you know, with a brain injury, it's hard to come back to this job because you need to be 100% to do the job, don't you, Brown?
100%. But in saying that, at all the times that I'm riding and all the falls I've been in or been involved in,
Yeah,
I don't think fatigue is something that
that's
causes
right.
falls.
Yeah,
You know, at the end of the day, you might be buggered and struggle to get up the next day and try to get motivated and to lose weight or do your exercise or get to the gym. But as far as tiredness in a race, you know, that for me, that doesn't
like for me, it'd be the dopamine and the adrenaline. Once them gates open, you're through the roof, aren't you? You're wide awake. It's not like you're falling asleep
at the
sitting
wheel.
behind a leader going in a staying race.
It's
You
not
know?
like you're driving a car.
Yeah, that's right. You know, you're riding a 4-legged animal.
And someone asked that question. We posted something on Instagram to see if anyone had any questions for you. Was like, what is your first thoughts when the gates open? Like,
Did you do a lot of screaming?
No, not really. The biggest thing is to try and help the horse take that first 1 or 2 strides cleanly.
yeah,
And what can quite often happen at the start of a race to a horse from either side, you can jump in or out, which can just cost you the whole race.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of getting through that first sort of 10 or 20 strides was just cleanly. And then getting the horse into rhythm and finding what you want to do. But particularly those first 3 or 4 strides, you can win and lose the race very quickly.
Well, Scotty and I were speaking before. Warham in the Oakley Plate, he sort of looked like he was getting scrubbed up pretty much out of the gates, and he didn't look like he was sort of in his stride at all. And even on the turn, you thought he's in a bit of trouble, and he still came.
He's off the TV screen.
Yeah, and he still managed to win. Did you think at any point you were going to win that race?
No, probably when I was weighing back in afterwards. I thought, well, that was a good effort.
Yeah.
No, not really. And like, it's a good thing we didn't have the whip rules back then.
Yeah.
Because he just loved it. He wouldn't go without them.
Yeah.
But he was a horse with feet problems, and so you didn't know what you were going to get.
Yeah.
You'd be back, you'd pull him out, give him a kick. Some days he'd just go, and some days he just wouldn't.
Yeah.
So you just didn't know what you were going to get.
On his day, would you say he was as good as Buffering with a turn of foot?
He had a better turn of foot than
Better
Buffering,
turn of foot.
for sure. He had probably one of the better turn of foots of any horse on the road. He could run a really unbelievable last furlong.
Yeah.
But Buffering was more, he would break other horses' hearts throughout the race.
Yeah. And
He was a more hardened horse, wasn't he?
They could breed a horse, but Judy and Ross Cutts, Warham, Rob had a heap of them that they could gallop. So
Yeah, well, Show a Heart.
Show a Heart, yeah, that's
Show a
right.
Heart people, and unfortunately Ross has passed away now, but Judy still has a few horses, and look, they were lovely people, great people to ride for, but they've been great for the industry in Queensland as well.
Yeah. Still supporting the industry too, you know, for your stable. I think you're the only stable that trains for him now.
Yeah, Judy has a few with Chris Anderson.
Oh,
but mainly the ones that race in the Show a Heart colours,
Yeah.
the Showtime breeding colours.
Yeah.
In our stables, Star of Michelin. He's probably one of the better ones. We had Charlie River. He was a good one too. Ran second in the JJ.
Yep.
But he.
Did you ever ride him?
I was supposed to ride him in the JJ too, I think.
Did you get the drag?
No, I jumped on something else.
Jeez, you could have
Yeah,
jumped
you
on
good at-
something
you good at
else.
that.
Yeah,
You're good at that. Hey?
I know.
I guess talking about it, did you have any opportunities to ride in Sydney or Melbourne full time in Metro?
Yeah, well, Gay offered me a job down there, and I knew that it wouldn't work out between me and her anyway. Mainly because the style of her racing, her horses racing, don't suit my
suit
style of
you.
riding for the start. So I thought it was probably a better option not to go there. And then Peter, well, he was still at Godolphin, but he knew he was leaving, going on his own.
Yeah.
He took me out to the Gold Coast, and he asked me about 5 times throughout the night. He just kept buying me drinks and then asking me again, come and be stable rider. And when I explained to him why I didn't want to, he understood that, and he was very reasonable about it, and I still rode for him afterwards. So we just had a great relationship, Peter and I.
And what was the reason? Just you loved the coast too much?
I had a young family. I didn't really want to bring them up in Sydney for a start. And the other reason was I would have to ride a lot more work and trials.
Yeah.
And I just knew my legs wouldn't stand up to it. So rather than go down there, do it for 3 months and then let everyone down, I thought it was better just to let them know straight off.
Yeah.
And do your kids have any love for racing at all? Not really.
No, not really.
No.
No, it's been quite good, really, to be honest.
Yeah.
One, my boy Jacob, he's got more brains than the whole family put together, and Libby's, she's a bit more like me. She's a bit of a rogue, but
I hope the wife isn't listening, Browne.
oh, she knows.
She knows. Oh. She also rode. She was a jockey as well for a bit.
Yeah, she rode 99 winners in New Zealand. She's one of the leading apprentices there, and she came over here. She wanted to ride one winner just to give her that 100 and just say she rode a winner in Australia, and she'd been riding a little bit and hadn't ridden one. And she was on one of Trevor Thomas's one day here at Caloundra, and she won. Yeah. She beat me, and so she.
Did she beat you?
But what a way to top! Yeah, what a way to top it off.
On one of Trevor Thomas's
straight away retired. I said that'll do you.
That'll do you.
As I'm swimming up the side, I said, "That's it. You've got your one retired." No, I didn't. Look, she was a very good rider, and she's a terrific track work rider too. Had great hands.
Yeah.
So,
did you teach her that too?
I taught her a lot of things. That wasn't one of them. But she's been nursing now for probably a bit over 15 years, and she loves it.
Yeah, that's good. And you got obviously the track supervisor's job out at the Sunshine Coast Turf Club now?
Yeah, I enjoy that. Gives me a chance to just keep an eye on everything, see all the up and coming young riders, and as we had this morning, when things go wrong, it's good to be able to help out and get in there and try and help everything go smoothly anyway. So
it does show you how things can go wrong so quickly though, Browne. One minute we were talking, having a coffee, and the next minute I was running around like a headless chook. But
that's what you try and explain to the younger ones now when they're too busy talking and worried about just concentrating because you don't know how quick something can go wrong.
And there's plenty of younger jockeys coming through the Sunny Coast too. Leah Martin, she's out injured at the moment, but you're working pretty closely with her, weren't you?
Yeah, I have been for probably about 4 or 5 months now, and she's come a long way. She's a lovely young lady, and I just noticed her riding work, and she's got lovely balance and good hands. And she was always trying to help the horse when it's thrown set out to get it to settle. Just little things that you notice and go, oh, she might be all right, this young lady, and she's got her head screwed on well, and it was really unfortunate. She'd only just had her first ride before, so. And she worked hard to get to that point. So it was really disheartening for her. But I seen her yesterday, and she's in good spirits. And still going to be out for a little while, but
still young, Browne. You got plenty of time, hey?
That's right. Yeah.
She's a nice girl too.
Yeah.
Your girl's another up and coming.
Yeah, Montana. You haven't had much really to do with Montana.
No, I spent a little bit of time with her on the horse right at the start.
Yeah.
But then she's been too busy.
Yeah, and she's been injured quite a bit.
She has had a lot of injury problems, hasn't she?
Yeah. So 2 collarbones and bloody, I think it wasn't even...
Probably
how long? 6 months?
No, not even. Yeah, and then she came back for a few weeks, and then she...
Out again. Smiley. She'd smile at the funeral.
And it never... I think she was more upset, she was upset when it happened the second time, more so because she was out again.
Yeah.
Not because it actually hurt, but more so she knew something was wrong.
Having to go through that all again. Yeah, I know that feeling.
I don't think I'd ever get back on if that happened to me twice.
Yeah, I don't know how tough I'd be in that sense.
Fear would keep me on the ground.
Yeah.
Browne, that's why you're back on the ground now. Obviously, you can't ride track work anymore. There's no aspirations to be a trainer at all?
No, well, most of the trainers I know are just grumpy old men, so I don't want to turn out to be one of them, do I? As I'm talking to 2 sons of trainers. But look, no, not really. Look, training is not easy, as you're supposed to know. Even when you're going well, there's also a lot going on.
Yeah.
And, after riding for over 30 years, it was time to just take a step back and start trying to enjoy my family and just enjoy life a little bit more.
Enjoy life. You play a bit of golf. We play a bit of golf together, Browne.
Yes, you know about that, don't you?
Yeah. We won't bring up last games, but I've got a pretty good record on that. So I won't bring it up, but we have a good game. Couple of boys.
Well, I tell you what, if the stewards looked into the last game, they would ask you to go and trial satisfactorily because you were very wayward.
Yeah, I was. I had a lot of things on my mind. I had a big night before it. It wasn't planned out well. for my sake.
Oh, well,
And
excuses.
it did
you
cost
use.
me. Yeah, excuses, that's right. But yes. No, at least you're enjoying life, Brown, now.
That's right. Do you miss it though? Obviously, the riding and track work riding and race riding.
Yeah, look, I miss the horses.
Yeah.
I miss the camaraderie in the jockey's room too. That was always a bit of fun.
Yeah.
And obviously the pay packets are a bit different, but yeah, big days and things you miss a little bit. But I certainly don't miss the wasting or the travelling.
Yeah.
And I'm able to be at home now, so that's great.
Well, your end of your career nearly wasn't good at the end there, was it? Really, you were in hospital for a while there, and it was touch and go how you were going, and you pulled through, luckily. But it was a forced retirement basically for you, wasn't it? Really.
Yeah, look, it wasn't the way I wanted to go out, but you know, I still come out of it a lot better than a lot of people say. Sometimes you just got to look at the positive sides. It looks ugly, it doesn't look good, but you know, there's positives to take out of anything.
Yeah, that's
And you're better off looking at those than the negatives.
You had a great career. Not many jockeys ride 16 Group 1 winners.
No. Look, I got lucky in a lot of occasions, and I had good support from good people, and that's a big help.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you were a top class jock, but anyway, a lot of luck, I guess.
Where was your favourite track to ride out of everywhere you went?
Oh, look, Maydan's got to be right up there. It's just an unbelievable place.
Yeah.
But the Sunny Coast is as good a track as there is around.
Is that because you and Scotty take care of it?
Say this.
I'm looking for a pay rise. See,
He did say the pay
Fucking won't be getting it from me, just quietly.
I'll look at my wages next week. If there's not one, I'll come back and change my statement.
Me and you are both going together, eh?
Yeah.
Charging there.
Look, the best thing about the Sunny Coast, though, is draws don't really matter as much.
Yeah.
The best horse generally wins if it can.
Yeah.
You can get rain. It's always a beautiful surface. Look, there's nothing to dislike about this track.
And you're probably the king of the Sunny Coast track in terms of being a jockey. What would your tips be to other jockeys riding at the Sunny Coast? Stay on the crown of the track?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's as
Pretty
easy as
simple.
that.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Don't go before the corner
Yeah.
unless you're riding Burnborough,
Yeah.
please.
I think you did on Wings though. You went before the turn, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, you can get going, but I'm saying don't be
Yeah.
six in front before the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
Half time you're going to get run down.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wish you fellas were a bit older when I was riding. I might have ridden a few more winners with your tips.
Jesus Christ. Talking about tips, have we got one for the weekend?
Well, Brownie's the one on fire.
Yeah.
He picked Mr. Brightside
He
for
did
the
for the
punters
Parkies,
club.
yeah.
For the Parkies punters club.
He was over here Saturday, he was bloody smiling,
Yeah.
he thought he was a genius.
Yeah.
What about him? He's what a champion. Two Donnies in a row.
Yeah.
That's
Two
a
Group One
big
wins in
effort,
a row.
Brown.
All-Star
Not many horses do that.
No.
I think last horse was Sacred Falls that did that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Sacred Falls, but I could be wrong.
Did he win the Doncaster last year?
No.
He's
Won it
going now.
twice.
Oh,
Yeah. Jeez, come on now, I'm not that silly.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Saying, one back to back, but I don't know where he goes now, Mr. Brightside. Does he go for a
he's done
spell?
a good job, All-Star Mile up to the Doncaster.
Yeah.
Good pay packet for
Big
two
weekend
runs.
this weekend. Animo versus Pride of
Pride.
Honor? Honor of Pride, whatever it's called. Pride of Honor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pride of Honor. The
Dubai-
Haggis horse and
Close. Dubai.
yeah. Dubai
Honor.
Honor. Fucking hell, what a slaughter that was, Brown. Can you help us out there? What do you think about
Get
that?
some crib notes.
Yeah, I should.
What are
I
your
should.
thoughts? You reckon it wins?
Well, I tipped it last start when it won.
Mm.
But I don't know, Animo's out and out.
Mm.
Looks like the best horse at the moment.
I think Animo wins.
What do you think,
What do you
Brown?
reckon, Brownie?
Yeah, look, he's a great horse animal, isn't he?
Yeah.
He does everything that's asked of him. He's always looked like he was going to be a good horse, and he's really just seems to, the last 12 months, furnished into that horse.
Yeah.
It'd be a brave man to tip against him, but those, Northern Hemisphere staying horses,
Yeah.
hard
Something
to
different.
beat.
Yeah.
Really hard to beat.
For sure. I see.
I just
thinking
think the
about setting up
quality-
the stable too.
Yeah, I did see that. But I just think the quality of what Dubai Honor beat compared to what Animo's been beating.
Oh, for sure.
That's
Oh, yeah,
what
no
probably
doubt.
the-
Animo's a Cox Plate winner.
Yeah.
Bloody.
And
How many
against
Group 1
world-class
winners?
horses
Yeah.
too. So.
Animo's the best horse in Australia. It's just this new bloods on the block
Yeah,
and
that's right.
And I think because Animo hasn't been blowing him away and winning
Yeah.
like win
Yeah.
style,
yeah.
that's right.
people are still trying to knock him
Yeah,
forward.
that's right.
But,
But
you
he
look
won
at horses like
three.
Octagonal and things like that.
Yeah.
He used to only ever win by
That's
a
right.
neck, a half a length.
They just got that will to win. They
That's
know
right.
where the post is.
Yeah, and they know they're good too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
No, he'll go away and be a freak at stud, I'd say.
What have you got a best for the weekend?
Best for the weekend. Now I'll leave that for Saturday. Away for Scotia. I gotta get my stuff together. I tipped shit last week, Nath.
Well, we both had our best bets at Randwick, heavy track.
Yeah, no.
Whale was on.
Yeah.
I think that was the unfortunate thing about last
Yeah.
week. When it rains like that down there,
Yeah.
it makes it very difficult.
Done.
You know.
Well, there was a photo of the week leading up to the race. Beautiful, clear skies. And then Doncaster Day, and it's pissing down rain.
And it can happen so often.
Yeah,
down
that's
there.
right.
Mm.
Yeah.
I even had a ride in the Doncaster once, and then when I landed, it was crashed. Because
Right,
it rained that much in
Yeah.
the flight down there.
Yeah.
So I ended up going to Doncaster, getting drunk and coming home. I didn't even
That's probably a better way to spend the day anyway.
Yeah, so, but it can happen in Sydney, can't it?
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be heavy, like it's still heavy now, but
Yeah.
I think the weather forecast is a little bit better towards the end of the week, so it'll be
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, because there was a heap of horses that loomed like down the outside, like they were going to run straight past them. But I think
Yeah.
the rail was just playing. The rail was on, and everyone sort of seemed to come on the rail that was winning. So.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah.
I mean, the win of the day is probably I Wish I Win.
Yeah,
big
wasn't it huge? It came from the back down the outside,
That's
like we
right,
were
that's
saying,
right.
the bias, you know.
That's what makes it even.
What a
even
freak of a horse that is, you know. Can stay, gets a mile, beats all the best sprinters in the world.
Yeah, well,
When he's not, he's by Saberville.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he'd run
Peter Moody says, "Oh, I'm going to restrict him to sprinting."
sprinting. I know.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, yeah.
I remember when I
Yeah.
saw that too.
That's
I thought,
why he's the
"Wow."
great trainer and all
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
You
right.
know, but yeah, I thought, geez, he just looks like a mile.
Yeah.
You know, he
Yeah.
races like a mile.
Yeah.
But then he showed why on Saturday,
Yeah.
obviously. And
He might just be one of them out of the box freaks, a bit like Winks, you know. She could win at that distance, win at that distance, and win again, you know.
well, you see Moody and Trumpy Nolan afterwards.
Yeah.
In the car. I thought I've seen this photo before.
Yeah.
Hey, it's
Back to
the
the
old black
bloody
caviar,
days.
missing days, but.
Jeez, Moods, he'd be funny. He
He
owns half of it.
owns half the horse too.
Fuck, I'd like his
What
pay
Luke,
packet.
what Luke Nolan say? He said, "Oh, good thing Moody owns half the horse. He's a good slinger or
Yeah.
something like that." So yeah, he's done a good job. Because when I first heard that, I thought, oh, it won. I think it won the Golden Eagle
Yeah.
just before that too. And he said he's going to take it back to
Yeah.
1,000, 1,200 meters sort of trip. So
Oh, he knows what he's doing. He's no
That's right.
dummy, old Moods.
no.
But I guess we'll touch on Sunday, Nathan. I think you got a couple you like on Sunday before we head off.
Yeah, we've got a couple. Because we're going to probably touch a bit more on Sunny Coast
Yeah.
racing and Brizzy racing a bit more now. Because obviously there's that many people doing the big races in Randwick and
Yeah.
Rosehill, all around Australia. So
What about your father's team? Have you got any sneaky ones coming out of there? There's got to be something. there.
that's where my
You got
tips
60
are.
That's
horses.
what they
Come
are.
on, find something.
Okay, I've tipped in before. One last start. It's hard to go from a maiden up to a benchmark race or to even a class 1, but he's going really well. Ultimate Outcome.
Okay.
Back on the big track.
Who rides at Bailey?
Bailey Wheeler claims 2. And he's probably improved off that last run.
Yeah.
I think back on the big track will suit him. He won at Ipswich last start, which is probably not his track
Mm-hmm.
because he sort of tends to get it back a bit.
Yeah.
He had to get ridden a bit closer the other day too, around obviously Ipswich. So I think he's a good chance. And Hard Raver, he's in the 1,000 metre benchmark 58. Ran third in a midweek last start, beaten a bit over a length.
Yeah.
Probably would have rathered him over 1,200 as opposed to 1,000. And he's carrying, Jake Malloy's riding, so he carries 60 kilos, but he's a big horse. He's always had a lot of ability. He's just probably had a few little issues, but I think we've sort of got him right now, and he should be right in there in the finish. So.
Yeah, I don't have a best. We got one run on Sunday for crew racing. Traders
Traders,
Gators
yeah,
in second up. It was a good run first up.
First, yeah.
It was better than what it looked on
yeah.
paper.
Yeah,
Bailey Weir 6. We drew a shit gate,
Yeah.
barrier 11, but he'll go back again and work home.
Yeah.
Back him next start.
is the trainer running him on Sunday? She said she's nominated
Oh
to join him
yeah,
on Wednesday.
we'll wait and
so-
see. She's in two minds at the
Indecisive.
moment, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, thanks Brown for coming
Yeah.
on. You're a bloody legend.
Oh, my pleasure, boys. It's
You're
been good.
very patient too because we had a few fuck ups, but we'll
Yeah.
go through it.
We'll punch through it. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, we'll catch you next week, I guess. Hey, Nath.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Brownie.
No
Talk to
worries.
you.